Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. He'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand the truth.
Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand the truth.
That's it. Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Glad you could be here. Today is the 15th of July. We've made it halfway to the end of the month here. Just past the full moon, so we're still got that in the sky as it is making its way down to the new moon. Our sun sign is in Cancer, which is a water sign. Our moon sign also is a water sign. It is Pisces. It made the transition last night into Pisces. It's going to be there until tomorrow. So the moon sign, our unconscious mind, is in Pisces. Our conscious mind is in Cancer. A lot of water, a lot of feelings. Feelings on the surface, with the Cancerian energy that is represented by the tarot card of the Charioteer, who wears the armor to protect itself from all of the emotions. And then the Pisces is all about lessons of faith and trust. So let's take a further look here at this Pisces. We're going to go and we're going to look at the Pisces over here with the highlight of the tarot. Okay, this is a really good resource if you're new here. Really good resource, builders of the Adytum. And here's the highlights of the tarot. We have all of the cards here. So this one represents Pisces. It is the card of the moon. It's called the Corporal Intelligence, attributed key number 18. It means body consciousness and is indicative that illumination is dependent upon bodily states. Until the bodily organs are evolved to the extent that the higher forms of consciousness can manifest through them, it is impossible to experience such conscious states. Sleep is also attributed to this key, and it is during sleep that our aspirations and efforts are built into organic structure. Every thought we think and every action has some modifying influence on bodily structure. It is said the way of attainment is the way of return. This is symbolized by the moon, which reflects the rays of the sun back to the sun. The crawfish represents instinctive energy. The wolf, the dog represent the same energy, but in higher form as a result of evolutionary modification. Also, the wolf is a symbol of nature, and the dog of art because he's a product of human adaptation. The path passes between the two extremes because the way of balance goes neither too fast towards artificiality, nor allows everything to be influenced by ungoverned natural impulses. The path leads through the well-tilled field to the unknown heights of the two towers, representing the present human attainments. The ground is undulatory, representing alternate periods of rest and action. The stage of unfoldment is organization. Okay, so we've got the two pillars, the things which we know are leading up to them, and then beyond is the unknown. So once we get into the unknown, that is where the issues of faith come in. That's why we see the moon. The moon reflects the light of the sun to remind us that the light is still there, even at the darkest periods of time. That life evolves through a process, and as we evolve and move into the unknown, we continuously receive our light from the sun, because no matter how dark it appears to get, the sun is always present. Now, if we look, okay, so we go back over here, so we've got Pisces, and Pisces in aspects today, 3 different aspects. We had one aspect already, a trine between Mercury and Pisces. Now we're moving into a conjunction where the two of them are together, means they're both right next to each other. So this time we have Neptune and Pisces are next to each other. Neptune is saying we need to look at things from another perspective. It's a water sign, and it's right next to a water sign, Pisces, which are the fish swimming both directions. So we want to look at things in a new perspective so that we can move in the direction we want to move without being all pushed around by the emotions as they will. And then later this evening we have a sextile between Pluto and Pisces. Pluto is deep transformative energies, and it's a good thing. So whatever's going on with these emotions here, these Pisces, we have some really good, looks like some changes going on. Things coming out of the depths of the water. Our feelings have to deal with things. It's very important in life that we deal with our feelings. Feelings are very much a part of who we are and what we're about, and it's understood through all sorts of teachings and this planet and off planet how important our feelings and our emotions are, because of what they carry back and forth between one heavenly body to the next. We're considered a heavenly body because the heavens are all around us. So as these emotions take energy from one to the next, it all has an effect. So the more that we can understand the emotions and the feelings, the better we're off. Think of Star Wars. Just stretch out with your feelings, Luke. So feelings, important. Okay. Our numerology for today is number 2. Here's how we've arrived at that number. 7 plus 15 for the day plus the year 2014. And it comes out to a 20. 2 plus 0 is 2. By theosophic subtraction, we've come up with the number 2, which is the tarot card of the High Priestess. Let's take a look at the placement here. Okay, here's the 2 right here, the High Priestess, the middle pillar. The High Priestess, we access this path of the High Priestess by using our imagination. Crosses down from the crown, down into the heart center. Now, if you recall from yesterday, I said that prior to entering the crown, there are 3 negative veils of existence. The first one is the Ain, which means the negative. Next is the Ein Sof, which is the limitless. And then the Ein Sof Or, A-U-R, and that means the limitless light. So suddenly went from negative state of existence to limitless negativity to suddenly light. And then that light found a point of expression here in this first symbol, the crown. And then the pattern on the trestle board matches up with each one of these 10 points here. We'll bring that together another day. But for the meantime, we've come down from the crown. We've got the High Priestess right in the middle, which is that inner temple that we all have within ourselves. And so we learn to go within ourselves. So the 2 numerology is teaching us to go into ourselves. The sign for Cancer is over here on the left-hand side, dealing with the lessons of what it is to be a warrior, taking the discipline, the understanding we gain from discipline, understanding the intensity we need to put into something while not getting into a warlike situation, using our energy for good. Okay, here's Cancer, and then Pisces, way down here, the moon sign is going from emotions, victory, all the way down to the kingdom, the physical world where we're at. And so we walk this path of evolution, moving through our emotions, evolving through the water, all the way to the physical realm. Okay. Our moon phase for today is 86 full. It's a waning moon, which means we're going back down to the new moon. This week up in the sky, or tonight, here's the 15th. That's what we're looking at tonight. Okay, and it says that Vega is the brightest star. Look very high in the east. Far down to its lower right shines Altair. Almost as bright. Look to the left of Altair, about a fist length. And look for the little compact Delphinus, the dolphin, sleeping the lower edge of the Milky Way. Okay. Mayan Oracle. Today's an 11-tone day. 11 is the tone of dissolving, put salt or sugar into water, it dissolves. The water becomes salty or sweet, depending on which one. Today is the mirror, which is a reflection, so the mirror reflects. So it's the spectral tone of liberation with the endless reflection of the mirror, guided by the endless reflection of the mirror. Like-minded energy today is the dragon, which is birth. Challenge for today is the star, which is the theme, shining bright our beauty. And the hidden power is the subconscious or the night, which is that power within ourselves here. We're making our way to the end of this theme of the star, and we're at the 11th position of that. So 2 more of that, understanding what this is about. We've been learning how to shine our light bright. Phrase for today is I dissolve in order to reflect, releasing order. I seal the matrix of endlessness with the spectral tone of liberation. I am guided by my own power doubled. Space weather, solar wind currently at 479.3 kilometers per second. Planetary K index at the moment is between a 2 and a 3. We have some activity going on there. Not much in the way of coronal holes that we're aware of. This one down here, but it's not directly facing us. M-class flare possibilities now down to 10. X-class at 1. Geomagnetic storm activity is dropped down. It was 25. Now we're down to 20 as the higher range goes. On the Jewish calendar, today is 17 Tammuz, and today is called the Feast or the Fast of Tammuz. So let us take a look further at what this is all about. The Fast of Tammuz. Says the Talmud lists 5 tragic events in Jewish history that occurred on 17 Tammuz, or Tammuz 17, on account of which a fast was instituted on this day. The first of these occurred in 1313 BCE, 40 days after the giving of the Torah, on Sivan 6, upon descending Mount Sinai and witnessing Israel's worship of the golden calf. Moses smashed the tablets inscribed with the 10 Commandments, which he was carrying down from the mountain. Other things that occurred, it says the daily daily sacrificial offerings in the Holy Temple were discontinued for 3 weeks before the Babylonian destruction of the first temple in 423 BCE. Also, 3 other tragedies mourned on Tammuz 17 are connected with the Roman conquest of Jerusalem and their destruction of the Second Temple in 69 CE. The walls of the besieged city of Jerusalem were breached. The Roman general Potamus burned the Torah and placed an idol in the Holy Temple. The fighting in Jerusalem continued for 3 weeks until the 9th of Av, when the Holy Temple was set aflame. Okay, so today is a day of fast dedicated to mourning the breach of Jerusalem's walls. And it's a festival or a feast, fasting in time period of 3 weeks of mourning. 17th Tammuz marks the beginning of 3-week period of mourning, which culminates on the 9th of Av, commemorating the conquest of Jerusalem, the destruction of the Holy Temple, and dispersion of the Jewish people. Okay, and the daily thought for today is to enter in, says, tied to the source. There are places you cannot go into on your own accord. To enter into the depths and stay connected above, to enwrap within darkness and be there, a source of light. To take on mission and return in peace is possible only if you are tied with and bonded with Azadik. You must be sent there by someone for whom this cavern does not exist, someone for whom the darkness is already lit. Okay. There you have it. That gets us started for today. UFO news is up next. Let's go to it.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk. Thank you very much. First story, Tennessee, triangular craft, July 11th. There's our object in question. It says this unusual craft, possible triangle UFO, was recorded in the night sky above Tennessee This was on Friday the 11th. All we have is just a video here. It's 3 minutes and 11 seconds in length. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Next we have Skeptic is stunned by UFO. This is in Australia. UFO stuns Skeptic in Australia. A Edmundi man has been left baffled after glimpsing a strange flying object in the night sky. Self-confessed UFO skeptic George Leal was driving home to Edmundi on the Sunshine Motorway on Saturday night. He had just passed the Marocadore Bridge when he said he saw something at 8:40 p.m. that stopped him in his tracks. I saw 3 extremely bright lights drop down in the western sky. They seemed to slow down rapidly and dramatically change direction. They went east, he said. The 2 lead lights were fairly close together, and the third was trailing them by some distance. The first light accelerated and just vanished, followed by the second. They all disappeared at roughly the same point. While not wanting to be labeled as crazy, Mr. Lyle said he was at a loss to identify the objects, which he described as balls of lights. He said he estimated the objects disappeared between Twin Waters and Mount Colum. While he acknowledged that the lights were in the vicinity of the Sunshine Coast Airport, the 51-year-old man, who said he had a military background, said he did not believe the objects were aircraft as they lacked navigation lights. The way they moved, it was not right, he said. I've seen some unusual things, but nothing like this. Okay. So there you go. Moving on. Next story. This is blinking UFO appears over Patal Senayan in Indonesia. This was on the 9th. Alright, 1 minute 37-second video. This is I think we might have seen this one, didn't we? This was the bluish colored one. Yeah, like right up here. So this was over India on the 9th. Very interesting. Alright, let's move from India to our next location. Here's just a video. This was during the moon that we just really had. The supermoon. So let me backtrack here. We could see there's an object moving across the moon. A lot of different versions. From 200, here's 100%. You got 200%. Okay, there's the 200, 300. Okay, so very interesting. You could see a lot of different filters put on here, so you could see what's going on. Alright, there you go. Alright, so that was that one there over the moon. Now we're going to go to Los Gatos near San Jose on July 5th. There's our object in the sky, nice light. Watch as this UFO is seen over Los Gatos. A crowd of people gather and joke about what it is and how they will explain it to police. Sounds like a lot of drinking is going on, however the camera doesn't lie and is sober. I said people are relaxed around the UFO phenomenon and joke about it. Okay. So, alright, there you go. Alright, very interesting. I listen to this video. This one's funny. All the people. I'll run at it. Okay, one more. This is the Chronicles, UFO Chronicles of Monk Hsu-Yun. The UFO enigma has touched not only the social and cultural aspects of the human being, just as well as the spiritual realm of humanity. One spiritual influence is the late accounts of the famous Chan Buddhist master named Hsu-Yun, who practiced Chinese Zen Buddhism, and the master was known to be one of the most influential monks during his 119 years of life on Earth from 1840 to 1959. Master Hsu-Yun chronicled and believed that his sightings of balls of fire in the mountains of Dalo, China in 1884 had some spiritual meaning. He remarked the balls of fire in his accounts as the wisdom lamps or wisdom lights, which he had profound respect and admiration. The sighting happened on the second night of his visit, and he described the UFO as a huge ball of fire that broke down into 10 different sizes and flew up and down at the night sky of the mountain. Master Hsu-Yun believed that his experience with strange lights has a link with a higher form of consciousness and holiness. Swedish writer Sanjin Lemsik, who discovered the information, said the case could be something more like an extraterrestrial encounter. Meng Su's autobiography, entitled Empty Cloud, mentioned the wisdom lamps only a few times, and there are no more accounts that could tell about the lights that would help the researchers go down to the bottom of the mystery. The finding of Umsik means that these older writings are still valued today, for there lie many unexpected riddles with them. There now stands a temple that rests on top of the mountain where the famous monk witnesses experience with the unidentified lights. The sanctuary now becomes a tourist attraction in China, and many of its visitors is equally fascinated with the sacred monument and the mysteries that its night skies hold. And that is our UFO news for today. I'll be back momentarily.
Come into our circle, Great Spirit. Fill our souls with peace.
Continue on. So we're going to deal with some time traveling stories right here. Incredible interdimensional travelers and their stories. There's 12 of them listed right here. No matter how savvy an interdimensional traveler you may already be, the journey across dimensions can still be a rather scary and perplexing process. The series of stories, which contains insights gleaned by fellow interdimensional travelers, is offered in the hopes that it can provide some assistance to you on your travels. As of 2012, portals have moved from theoretical to reality. A NASA-sponsored researcher at the University of Iowa has developed a way for spacecraft to hunt down hidden magnetic portals in the vicinity of Earth. These portals are linked to the magnetic field of our planet. The existence of portals would go a long way in explaining the erratic and very bizarre stories that some people have been telling for hundreds of years. They have been known as interdimensional travelers. Alright, so the first one here, let's just look at a couple of these. This is Carol Chase McElherney of Riverside, California. In 2006, as Carol Chase McElherney was driving down from Paris, California, back to her home in San Bernardino, she claimed she decided to stop in her hometown of Riverside. It didn't take long, however, for Carol to realize she wasn't in the right town, although its geographical location was correct. "I've been going to Riverside since I was a baby," she said. "I'm real familiar with the city. I know my way around. I knew where my grandmother lived. I've been to the cemetery. I knew where I was going." She couldn't find her childhood home. Then she drove to the street where her grandmother once lived, stopped the car, and looked around in amazement. It was totally different. None of the houses were like anything I remembered. No tall trees. Her house wasn't there. The numbers were in the same range, but the houses were all new. Grandma's house, my aunt and uncles were next door, were gone. All the homes on that should have been on her grandmother's street were modern ranch-style houses lined by bushes, nothing like her grandmother's big Tudor home with towering eucalyptus trees in the yard. It was just gone. So was the cemetery. The cemetery where my grandparents were buried was just not there, she said. I drove around the block where it was supposed to be, and it was just fenced off with weeds inside. No gate, driveway, or anything. Here we have one. This is Green Children of Woolport, UK. One day at harvest time, according to William of Newburgh, during the reign of King Stephen between 1135 and 1154, the villagers of Woolpit discovered two children, a brother and sister, besides one of the wool pits, and gave the village its name. Their skin was green, they spoke an unknown language, and their clothing was unfamiliar. The children were taken to the home of Richard de Calain. The pair refused to food for several days until they came across some raw beans which they consumed eagerly. The children gradually adapted to normal food and in time lost their green color. The boy, who appeared to be younger of the two, became sickly and died shortly after, and he and his sister were baptized. After learning to speak English, the girl explained that they came from a land where the sun never shone and the light was like twilight. William of Edinburgh said the children recalled their home St. Martin's Land and everything there was green. According to William, the children were unable to account for their arrival in Woolpit. They had been herding in their father's castle when they heard a loud noise, and suddenly found themselves in the wool pit where they were found. Here we have one of Pedro Ramirez from Seville, Spain. Around 11 p.m., November 9th, 1986, Pedro Olivia Ramirez claims he was driving from Seville, Spain to a town of Alca del Guardia. Being no stranger to this trek, it came as a shock when he allegedly went around a curve and found himself driving on an unfamiliar straight 6-lane highway. He was surrounded by foreign structures and bizarre terrain. He felt a sensation of heat, while a chorus of voices rang out in the distance. One voice stood out among the others, telling him he had just been teleported to another dimension. The cars around him, which passed at intervals of exactly 8 minutes, were outdated and either white or beige with dark, narrow rectangles for license plates. After an hour of confused driving, Ramirez found a turn-off to his left, where the signs stood pointing to Alca, Malaga, and Seville. Ramirez began driving to Seville, but when he stopped, he was astonished to find he was looking at his home in Alca de la Guardia. When he retraced his steps, he could not locate the crossroads, the road sign, or the 6-lane highway again. Here in May 1972, 4 girls were allegedly driving back to Southern Utah University after spending their Saturday at a rodeo in Picoche. While crossing the desolate Utah-Nevada state line around 10 p.m., they found a fork in the highway where they veered to the left and began driving through Gatos Canyon. Suddenly, the black pavement turned into white cement. Believing they had simply taken a wrong turn, the girls headed back the way they came, but to their surprise, they were suddenly driving past grain fields and ponderosa pines with no desert in sight. They decided to stop at the roadside, ask for directions, but quickly changed their mind after one of the girls began screaming hysterically. 4 egg-shaped vehicles mounted on tricycle wheels with bright lights shining from the top of them began speeding after them. The petrified girls sped through the canyon as the white cement changed back to its normal black asphalt, leading them to the familiar desert. After wrecking in a creek, leaving them with 3 flat tires, they waited until morning to hike to Highway 56, where they flagged down an obviously skeptical state trooper. Alright, there's more stories than this, but pretty interesting, right? Very interesting ones indeed. Time travel. There's going to be a little bit more about time travel in a moment. But before we get to that, what I want to begin to look at now, we've looked at the Urantia book, and we looked at that, for a number of weeks, probably even a couple of months. I want to change gears from the Book of Urantia now. The links are available. You can go find the book and read through more and more. But I want to switch gears because there's so many really good books out there. This one is called the Book of Enoch. I've gone over this before. I really like this book. It's not one of the books that was included in the Bible. The story is that this was the King James decision. It was between the Book of Revelation or the Book of Enoch, and the Book of Revelation went in. This one is part of the Apocrypha, one of the many books of the Bible that didn't make it. Anyway, let me get to the book here. The Book of Enoch. The Book of Enoch was written during the 2nd century BCE. It's one of the most important non-canonical apocryphal works and probably had a huge influence on early Christian, particularly Gnostic beliefs, filled with hallucinatory visions of heaven and hell, angels and devils. Enoch introduced concepts such as fallen angels, the appearance of a Messiah, resurrection and a final judgment, and a heavenly kingdom on earth. Interspersed with this material are quasi-scientific digressions on calendrical systems, geography, cosmology, astronomy, and meteorology. The e-text has been prepared specially for sacred text and is a great improvement over other versions on the internet. With an introduction, correct verse numberings, page numberings from 1719 edition, and critical apparatus. So let's just take a brief through each one here. Title page, R.H. Charles DeLitt, D.D. Editor's preface. Says the object of the series of translations is primarily to furnish students with short, cheap, and handy textbooks, which it is hoped will facilitate the study of the particular text in class under competent teachers, but it is also hoped that the volumes will be acceptable to the general reader who may be interested in the subject with which they deal. It has been thought advisable as a general rule to restrict the notes and comments to a small compass, more especially as in most cases excellent works of a more elaborate character are available. Indeed, it is much to be desired with these translations may have an effect of inducing readers to study the larger works. Our principal aim, in a word, is to make some difficult text important for the study of Christian origins more generally accessible in faithful and scholarly transitions. In most cases, these texts are not available in a cheap and handy form. In one or two cases, they have been included in the books which are available in the official Apocrypha, but in every case, reasons exist for putting forth these texts in a new translation with an introduction in the series. That was W-O-E Osterly. Whoa, Osterly. Okay, introduction. The apocalyptic literature. As the Book of Enoch is in some respects the most notable extant public work outside the canonical scriptures, it will not be inappropriate to offer a few remarks here on the apocalyptic literature generally. In writing about the books which belong to this literature, Professor Burkitt says very pointedly that they are the most characteristic survival of what I will venture to call, with all of its narrowness and incoherence, the heroic age of Jewish history, the age when the nation attempted to realize in action the part of the peculiar people of God. It ended in catastrophe, but the nation left two successors, the Christian Church and the rabbinical schools, each of which carried on some of the old national aims. And it was of the two the Christian Church that was the most faithful to the ideas enshrined in the Apocalypses, and it did consider itself, not without some reason, the fulfillment of the ideas. What is wanted, therefore, in studying the Apocalypses is, above all, sympathy with the ideas that underlie them, and especially with the belief in the New Age, and those who believe that in Christianity a new era really did dawn for us ought, I think, to have that sympathy. We studied the Apocalypses to learn how our spiritual ancestors hoped again that God would make all right in the end, and that we, their children, are here today studying them is an indication that their hope was not fully unfounded. Hope is indeed the main underlying motive power which prompted the writers of the Apocalypses, and it is hope that is more intense and ardent in that it shines forth from a background which is dark with despair, for the apocalyptists despised of a world in which they lived, a world which the godly were of no account, while the wicked seemed to be too triumphant and prosperous, with evil everywhere around. The apocalyptists saw no hope in the world as it was. For such a world there was no remedy, only destruction. If the good were ever to triumph, it must be in a new world. Despairing, therefore, of the world around them, the apocalyptists centered their hope upon the world to come, where the righteous would come in their own and evil would find no place. It is this thought which underlies the opening words of the Book of Enoch, the words of the blessing of Enoch, where within he blessed the elect and the righteous, who will be living in the day of tribulation, when all the wicked and the godless are to be removed. Nowhere in this book is the essence of this hope more beautifully expressed than in the short material piece of the first chapter. Alright, there's a lot going on here, but I'm just going to jump right in to the first chapter. Okay. So let me just go back here, back to our index, and we're going to start at chapter 1. Book of Enoch. Parable of Enoch on the future lot of the wicked and the righteous. Chapter 1. The words of the blessing of Enoch, wherewith he blessed the elect and the righteous, who will be living in the day of tribulation, when all the wicked and the godless are to be removed. And he took up his parable, and said, Enoch, a righteous man, whose eyes were opened by God, saw the vision of the Holy One in the heavens, which the angels showed me. And from them I heard everything, and from them I understood as I saw, but not for this generation, but for a remote one which is to come, concerning the elect. I said, and took up my parable concerning them. The Holy Great One will come forth from his dwelling, and the eternal God will tread upon the earth, even on Mount Sinai, and appear from his camp, and appear in the strength of his might from the heaven of heavens. And all shall be smitten with fear, and the watchers shall quake, and great fear and trembling shall seize them unto the ends of the earth. And the high mountains will be shaken, and the high hills shall be made low, and shall melt like wax before the flame. And the earth shall be wholly rent in sunder, and all that is upon the earth shall perish, and there shall be a judgment upon all men. But with the righteous he will make peace, and will protect the elect, and mercy shall be upon them, and they shall all belong to God, and they shall be prospered, and they shall all be blessed. And he will help them all, and light shall appear unto them, and he will make peace with them. And behold, he cometh with tens of thousands, his holy ones, to execute judgment upon all, and to destroy all the ungodly, and to convict all flesh of all thy works, of all their ungodliness which they have ungodly committed, and of all the hard things which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. Observe ye everything that takes place in the heaven, how they do not change their orbits, and the luminaries which are in the heavens, how they rise and set in order in its own season, and transgress not against their appointed order. Behold ye the earth, and give heed to the things which take place upon it from first to last, how steadfast they are, how none of the things upon earth change, but all the works of God appear to you. Behold the summer and the winter, how the whole earth was filled with water, and clouds and dew and rain lie upon it. Chapter 3. Observe and see how in the winter all the trees seem as though they had withered and shed all their leaves, except 14 trees which do not lose their foliage, but retain the old foliage from 2 to 3 years till the new comes. And again, observe ye the days of summer, how the sun is above the earth, over against it, and you seek shade and shelter by means of the heat of the sun. And the earth also burns with growing heat, and you cannot tread on the earth or on a rock by reason of its heat. Observe ye how the trees cover themselves with green leaves and bear fruit. Wherefore give ye heed, and know, with regard to all his works, and recognize how he that liveth forever hath made them so. And all his works go on thus from year to year, forever, and all the tasks which they accomplish for him, and their tasks change not, but according as God hath ordained, so it is done. And behold how the sea and the rivers in like manner accomplish and change not their tasks from his commandments. But ye have not been steadfast, nor done the commandments of the Lord. But ye have turned away, and spoken proud and hard words with your impure hearts against his greatness. O ye hard-hearted, ye shall find no peace. Therefore shall ye execrate your days, and the years of your life shall perish, and the years of your destruction shall be multiplied in external execration, and ye shall find no mercy. In those days ye shall make your names an eternal execration upon all the righteous, and by you shall all who curse, and all the sinners and godless shall imprecate by you, and for you, the godless, there shall be a curse. And all the shall rejoice, and there shall be a forgiveness of sins, and every mercy and peace and forbearance. There shall be a salvation unto them, a godly light. And for all of you sinners there shall be no salvation, but on you shall abide a curse. But for the elect there shall be light and joy and peace, and they shall inherit the earth. And there shall be bestowed upon the elect wisdom, and they shall all live and never again sin, either through ungodliness or through pride. But they who are wise shall be humble, and they shall not again transgress, nor shall they sin all their days of their lives, nor shall they die the divine anger or wrath, but they shall complete the number of their days of their life, and their lives shall be increased in peace, and the years of their joy shall be multiplied in eternal gladness and peace all the days of their lives. And it came to pass, the children of men had multiplied that in those days were born unto them and comely daughters. And the angels, the children of the heavens, saw and lusted after them, and said to one another, Come, let us choose wives from among the children of men, and beget us children. And Semyaja, who was the leader, said unto them, I fear ye not. Indeed, agree to do this, indeed, and I alone shall have to pay the penalty of great sin. And they all answered him and said, Let us swear an oath, and all bind ourselves by mutual imprecations, not to abandon this plan, but to do this thing. Then swore they all together, and bound themselves by mutual imprecations upon it. And they were all 200 who descended in the days of Jared on the summit of Mount Hermon. And they called it Mount Hermon, because they had sworn and bound themselves by mutual imprecations upon it. And these are the names of their leaders: Semyaja their leader, Arakaba, Ramiel, Kopiel, Tamiel, Ramiel, Daniel, Eskiel, Barakajel, Asael, Aramoros, Badarel, Aniel, Zakiel, Zamsaspel, Satrael, Turel, Jonjael, Sariel. These are their chiefs of tens. And all the others with them took upon themselves wives, and each chose for themselves one. And they began to go unto them, and to defile themselves with them. They taught them charms and enchantments, and the cutting of roots, and made them acquainted with plants. And they became pregnant, and they bare great giants, whose height were 3,000 ells, who consumed all the acquisitions of men. And when men could no longer sustain them, the giants turned against them and devoured mankind. And they began to sin against birds and beasts and reptiles and fish, and to devour one another's flesh, and to drink the blood. Then the earth laid accusation against the lawless ones. And Azazel taught men to make swords and knives and shields and breastplates, and made known to them the metals of the earth, and the art of working them, and bracelets and ornaments, and the use of antimony, and the beautifying of the eyelids, and all kinds of costly stones, and the coloring tinctures. And there arose much godlessness, and they committed fornication, and they were led astray, and became corrupt in all their ways. Semyaja taught enchantments and root cuttings, Amaros the resolving of enchantments, Barajakiel taught astrology, Kokabel the constellations, Ezekiel the knowledge of the clouds, Archiel the signs of the earth, Samshiel the signs of the sun, and Seriel the course of the moon. And as men perished they cried, and their cry went up to heaven. And then Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel looked down from the heaven, and saw the blood being shed upon the earth, and all the lawlessness being wrought upon the earth. And they said to one another, The earth, made without inhabitant, cries the voice of their crying up to the gates of heaven. And now to you, the holy ones of heaven, the souls of men, make their suit, saying, Bring our cause before the Most High. And they said, The Lord of the ages, Lord of lords, God of gods, King of kings, and God of the ages, the throne of thy glory standeth upon the generation of all ages, and thy holy name, and glorious and blessed upon all the ages. Thou hast made all things, and power over all things hast thou, and things are naked and open in thy sight, and thou seest all things, and nothing can hide itself from thee. See thouest what Azazel has done, who has taught all the unrighteousness on earth, and revealed the eternal secrets which were preserved in heaven, which men were striving to learn. And Semyaja, to whom thou hast given authority to bear rule over his associates, and they have gone to the daughters of men upon the earth, and have slept with the women, and defiled themselves, and revealed to them all kinds of sins. And the women have borne giants in the whole earth, and thereby been filled with the blood and unrighteousness. And now behold, the souls who have died are crying and making their suit to the gates of heaven, and their lamentations have ascended and cannot cease, because of the lawless deeds which are wrought on earth. And thou knowest all things before they come to pass, and thou seest these things, and thou dost suffer them, and thou dost not say to us what we are to do to them in regard to these. Okay, at least chapter 1 through 9. We'll continue on with chapter 10 next week from the Book of Enoch. Alright, now we're going to jump back over to the idea of time. And this is called jumping timelines. Kim Hutchison over at N5D. Timeline jumping refers to the shifting of awareness from one series of possibilities to another. If you are on one timeline and you do not like how things are unfolding, then you can move to another timeline in which your dreams are more attainable. That's because life makes use of all possibilities. Simply put, every version of events plays out. The options you didn't choose in this timeline are being explored in others. The eternal, formless, limitless being that is your soul knows no earthly bounds. Your spiritual self is highly adept at the art of multi-location. That means you exist in multiple timelines simultaneously. For the linear, sequential brain, this concept can be overwhelming. Your soul, however, exists outside space and time. Your expanded consciousness can see all possibilities in all directions of time. Your eternal soul requires novelty, along with opportunities to learn and create. The restrictive nature of linear timeline presents a wonderful challenge. Truth is, time is artificial. All things happen simultaneously. We simply choose in 3D to experience them in linear, sequential fashion. It's like wandering blindfolded through a maze. As our 3D experiment is winding down, our awareness is awakening to the existence of parallel, concurrent creations. The people who are wandering blindly through the maze of life are soon going to be able to see. This will help us to solve the puzzle faster and move on to other dimensions of creation. Part of our awakening process is remembering how to access parallel timelines. You can see this happening in interpersonal connections as well as on the world stage. Have you ever had an unsettling disagreement with someone only to have the conversation mysteriously shift in your favor mid-conversation? Chances are you shifted timelines in order to reach an agreement. Did you find your version of past events differ, sometimes radically, from your friends or significant other? We often chalk these up to discrepancies of having faulty memory, but again, it may be that you're recalling events from different timelines. We also shift timelines en masse, thanks to collective consciousness. Just look at forecasted world events that did not manifest. When we are passionate about changing something for better or worse, we flip into a parallel but different timeline. The greater the desire and the need for change, the bigger the leap. For those who are old enough to get the reference, it's like a scratched record. When the turntable hits the needle, it jumps out of its groove. The larger the scratch, the more the needle will skip. The advantage to the spiritual practice are obvious. Manifestation simplified. If you're like most people, you have probably struggled to master the art of manifestation. Now, instead of creating your goal from scratch, you can align with a timeline in which your goal is fully manifested. This takes far less time, effort, and energy. Gone is the need to petition higher vibrational beings for help. The power has been in our hands all along. Thanks to the thinning veil, we are beginning to reincorporate many of our forgotten abilities. It says this is nothing new. Did you know that you've been jumping timelines all along? The only difference is that we are steadily becoming more conscious of the truth. That means that you can do this. The only thing you need to learn is to jump timelines whenever you wish. It says the first step is own your power. You must consciously reclaim your ability to jump timelines by recognizing that this is indeed possible. The next step is to recognize that everything is made of energy. That energy has a signature vibration. Your thoughts, feelings, words, actions, and creations all match your desire and frequency. Every part of you must be focused on your intent. As your vibration changes, you will automatically shift timelines. If you like what you experience in new timelines, hold your vibration by continuing to feel the emotion which aligned you with your desires. To change timelines, change your thoughts, words, feelings, and actions to align with your new goal. It'll probably take more than a few attempts to get it right, but once you experience success, you will be motivated to try again. Eventually, the practice will become second nature. Happy jumping. Okay, that's a good article there. So there you go. Something practical you could do to practice exploring time on your own. And that brings us up to our message for today, which comes to us from the fairies and the unicorns. Here we go.
The Fairies and the Unicorns, The Lands of Mystery.
July 12, 2014, by Meline Portia Lafont.
Beautiful hearts, wondrous souls on adventure in the lands of Gaia. We speak to you with much gratitude and with a profound respect for all of you, for these wondrous times of shifts and ascension are of the utmost demanding type of soul work for you all, dear hearts. Astounding glimmer and light cities are activating their existence upon your planes of awakening and being, and this thanks to all of your hard work, your diligence, and your thrive to become the new race of human God consciousness in one. The so-called lands of mystery bear no longer such secrets for you, for those are here to unfold along with your cosmic wisdom and inner center of essence. Your light is reaching the shores of other dimensions and realities so that participation from the other realms are obviously impossible to occur in a more stable and conscious state of being. Allow our journey to begin now as a unity of one, and let us elaborate more on that part, dear hearts. We abound in the now to open your cosmic hearts of being, through the creation and the flame of Mother Father God in these beautiful expressions of your human vehicle experience. As the doors of your cosmic heart are being opened through the desire and the will of being one in love and in harmony, the entire universe and multiverse of light consciousness is accelerating in her process of a deep transformation that involves all of humanity, all of the galactic nations and all of the nature, and the ethereal elementals to shift the entire planet Gaia for the greater good of all. We invite you to keep in mind that we are all participating in this wondrous process that is unfolding at this time, and that we, the unicorns, function as the keepers of the flames of spirituality and enlightenment through the cosmic heart of creation and illumination, and that we, the fairies, function as the keepers of joy, laughter, happiness, and love, for those are the manna for transcendence. Invite our presences within your heart, and that way we will be more and more present within your own reality of being, where the magic takes place and becomes the order of your daily lives on earth. Together we are building the bridge of creation towards the new world, and you are even walking upon it at this time while simultaneously diligently building further on the bridge of creation. The long-seated lands of mystery are now becoming visible and tangible for you all, and some are already enjoying the fruits of this labor in this long-forgotten land. We welcome you heartily, and it is our heartfelt desire for you to feel at home here and at peace with one another, as well as with our heart of being. The children of this earth have never forgotten these lands of mystery, for our reality has always been a part of their lives and consciousness in the heart. An open connection is made with those magnificent souls, as the new children are the ones that abound in purity and eternal wisdom, with an open heart for all existence in life, on earth, and above. Those children are the keepers of our lands that felt compelled to bring back this mystery and the knowledge of our lands upon the minds, the hearts, and the lands of the earthly levels of all existence. This would be the human heart, the human mind, and the human concepts of being and understanding its consciousness. The secret lies in allowing your inner child to emerge once more, and to allow that part of you to bring forth the cosmic wisdom of the divinity in all. The fairies, see us in butterflies, see us in dragonflies and in the beauty of flowers, for we are always close to those existences of consciousness on earth. We still reside in your earthly spheres, although not too close to your boundaries of the human vehicle consciousness. But one can see with their heart that reflects through the inner eye of your true being. We reside with you as long as you are in need of some companion in joy and happiness, for we are joy and happiness. We bring that inner child within you to the shores of your being in this reality, and so we allow your magical abilities to be experienced in order to create and to manifest through joy. The unicorns, you can find us in the earthly elemental kingdom that resides closely to our nephews the horses and the woods of your lands. We travel in the sands of time, where every grain of sand allows the time to dissolve in the eternal, and so it is there where you can find us, see us, and experience us through the heart of your being, where you are one with time and the eternal flame. The silver lining is our consciousness and ray of light that resides within every feminine divinity of all beings. We bring inspirations, illumination, and spiritual knowledge by awakening your inner divine feminine, for we are keepers of it in collaboration with the angels. Let us now bow for that beautiful process that is unfolding at this time within all of you and for all of humanity, for it is wondrous to say the least, and an everlasting growth in consciousness that must be celebrated in love and peace, respect, and joy. We stand by you with love. The Fairies and the Unicorns.
Alright, very nice message indeed, which brings us to our meditation for today. So go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath and exhale. Take another deep breath and exhale again. Alright, imagine yourself walking along the path of life. All of your chakras are activated. Top of your crown, top of your head, the crown chakra. You have a white light coming down, entering the crown chakra where it turns violet. The violet light then moves down to the third eye where the chakra changes to the color indigo. And from the indigo chakra it moves down further yet to the throat, and there it becomes blue. And from the blue throat chakra it moves down further into the heart where it becomes green. And from the green heart chakra the light moves down further yet just below the rib cage to the solar plexus area where you have the color yellow. And then the light continues to move down to the chakra right at the belly button, the color orange, and finally to the base chakra, the root chakra, bottom of the spine, red, and then the light continues on, grounding itself into the earth. And there you are, connected to the earth, connected to the cosmos. And you feel the energy flowing from both directions, and as it flows into you, you feel all of this energy strengthening you. And as you feel stronger from all of this energy which flows through you, imagine yourself feeling and seeing all of this energy. So imagine seeing the multicolored energy floating through your body. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. See this multicolored energy as it flows through your body. It fills your body. And when your body becomes filled with this energy, it begins to overflow. And as it overflows and spills out into the room where you are, fills the room with this light, and it expands out further yet into the home where you live, and then out into the neighborhood, to the city, the state, the country, across the sea, to all the other countries around the world. And just imagine yourself as a part of this energy that is connected to all things. Think about the abundance of the universe that flows freely through each and everything. And here on earth, contemplate this affirmation: I am a money magnet. I am a money magnet. And take that even further and think I am a resource magnet, so that we know that not only do we acknowledge money, which is a product here of the earth, but we also acknowledge the bigger picture, which is the resource of which money is a part. So as we attract all the resources we need, all of the other things that are part of the resources make themselves available. So imagine yourself going through the world today thinking about what it is you need, and just thinking about attracting that into your life. And just experiment with that today, thinking about what you need and then thinking about attracting it and visualizing it in your mind's eye. And just keep visualizing until it becomes manifest in your life. Some things are shorter, some takes longer. But all process begins with a thought. So hold that idea in your mind's eye. Let your subconscious mind continue on the journey of just looking at the abundance of the universe. And let's bring our conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale. And open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That's our show for today. Thank you very much for being here. I'll be back tomorrow with more news and information and all kind of other good stuff. Till then, have an awesome day. Love you. Keep loving each other. I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.